Okay, friends, subscribers, and all you YouTubers out there, have I got a good one for you? I think I may have discovered the true secret to the Bohemian Grove. I don't think it's just an owl they're worshipping. I think it could be an alien race, because what I have found, it looks to be hidden, cloaked spaceships. And yes, I just said it, spaceships. It was only the fact that two of these mounds were the exact same shape. And I mean the exact same shape. One mound was similar, but it looked more like a pyramid mound. So I'm thinking to myself, hang on, there's something to these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I found. Okay, so there we have it. We have the Bohemian Grove. Now, the Bohemian Grove is quite a large property. We've got, what looks to be a big car park down that area. Then we have like what you would think is just part of it. But then you've got the lake where everything goes on. But then you think about it, where is everybody going to stay? So I zoom in on it. And so it's all connected, by the way. And I found accommodation everywhere in these mountains. Everywhere. Down here. Down there. Up in here even. You can see it just there. Big accommodation block there. Definite accommodation there. Around here. Down here, there's more stuff up here. Here. Now these were quite strange. These, I don't know what the hell they are, because each one of those is longer than a car. That width there, that whatever it is wider than a car. About most probably 2 car lengths. Then over here we have what could be like kitchen or accommodation. And then we have like what looks to be seating that could seat 2,000 people, because there apparently are over 2,000 people. Then we have heaps of like what looks to be high class accommodation up in these areas. This is where I'd say the filthy rich and the presidents stay, and they're all connected by these roads. And this road goes into the complex, and there's another one that goes right around the complex. And I believe these are the roads they use to protect. I believe these are monitoring stations, making sure that everybody can actually get caught before they go in. This road goes all the way around this valley. And it comes up around here. Goes down up there, down there, all around to the Bohemian Grove, and so it can be monitored. But then I was just looking around. I was actually looking for accommodation, and yeah, I'm going to say it, I was looking for graves, all the so-called sacrifice victims, because I was thinking to myself, well, maybe they can not be true. So there's more accommodation there, like this whole one here. That side is, I think, all the accommodation. But then we come over to this little valley here. I think I spotted a couple of buildings in here as well. There. But it was down here. Now, as you can see, I've just got place marks down there. And it looks to be what looks to be accommodation. And I thought, oh yeah, okay, so they've got more accommodation over there. And I saw some over here and everything, and I thought, oh yeah, that'd be a pretty likely spot, because you've got the golf club over here, and 10 to 1 they've got an underground entrance to the thing. These rich bastards do everything, and they don't do it by halves, as you can see here. Got a picture of one of the Bohemian Grove trees. But I started zooming in. I found this one first. This is the one I found first. Okay, and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, oh yeah, okay, there's more accommodation over here and here. There's some over there, some over there. So then I just zoomed in. Now, you know, as they say, as you zoom in on a topographical hill, and lo and behold, I have here the first of the cloaked ships. Over here you can see this shape. It's sort of like got the steeper side here and then the longer side here. So I thought, well, okay, if that's accommodation, it can't be accommodation. They wouldn't put accommodation on that type of steep hill, and I mean it's a steep hill. And by the way, that hill's over 300 foot high. 300 foot. Oh, sorry, the elevation. Sorry, that's right. No, not 300 foot high. What was it? Sorry about that, folks. I think that was about, yeah, it was 100. Sorry, it was over 100. Too quick. No, sorry, 70 foot high. So that is about 70 foot high, and it's got a definite shape to this. But it was this here, there, and this bit that goes up there, by the way, actually comes down there, and you can just see that one. But when you zoom in on, not zoom in, come around on that side, that one sort of can just be seen there. You can sort of see it. So this side mirrors the opposite side, but the photos of the thing don't match. But they do sort of, like this thing here. Like when I was looking at it from the top, the very top, like if you go and zoom in on it at the very, 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 very downward look. Okay, so we're going to do a very downward look at this. And so that's what I first saw when I looked at this, and I thought, okay, I had a second look and everything like that. And to me, it just didn't look right. There was a road going by. I thought, hey, it's a building. But as I said, when I zoomed in on it, this happened. And told me that was a very, very steep hill. Now, how could they put that building on that hill? They couldn't have. That is either a picture of what is underneath it. See, now look at that. That strange thing there as well, holding this sort of stuff. To me, I think that is something that has been covered over, and I think it goes all the way to the ground. And I mean, I think it goes all the way to the ground. So basically, and we have support buildings for the aliens, i.e., or whatever it is, or it could be some giant hall that they've covered over to hide what they do. Could be a giant hall that they've truly covered over, but I don't think it is, because if you go back through images, so we go to timeline, 2014, they've covered it right over. They don't want anybody to see it. It was only in that 2012 image that it comes visible. Disappears again earlier, and no matter how far I go back, but notice something here. It's in different directions. It's not in the same direction. The direction of it in each image is different in about half the images. So it's going in one direction there, and it's going to turn in a minute. See it? Notice that slight variation. It's parked in a different way. Now to me, that looks like, oh, actually, there it goes. Now, see that there? So if we spin around on it, that looks very similar to what we're looking at before, but it's not the same. Notice they're curved in this image. So whatever it is, they're curved. So either it's a same ship or it's a different ship. And again, it's in a different position. So we click through the images. Now notice the difference. It's just could be the same, but I don't think it. I think that is a camouflage netting on the top. I'm pretty sure that's camouflage netting they've made up and they've thrown over the top, and the trees are grown around it. because in this one they didn't have either some of the netting had come down and they hadn't bothered to replace it, or it's some kind of vine growing over it. But see how it just looks like it's thrown on the top, or it could be grown on the top. And I believe these are some sort of ship that sort of look similar to, if I go to, where is it, desktop, and I put them on, this could be why they were designed that way in Stargate, because this is what they could be hiding, is a ship like this, something similar, or yeah. And they made these in arrogance, like they did with 9/11. They pumped the fact that 9/11 was real prior to the 9/11 event happening. But see, that wasn't the only one. Now, I'm going to zoom in on the side again, because I want to show you that configuration. Now notice we've got the steepness at the front, and then we've got that long, comes down here, and then zooms out on an angle, just like the Alcast ship in Stargate. So then we go down to the second one. And guess what, folks? Whoops, too far. We've got to get the orientation correct. There we go. We have the steep angle, and we have that same damned orientation. And look, it's either camouflage, or it's some kind, it's the way the ship really looks. And it could be the way the ship really looks. That could be part of the ship. And it sort of uses it as camouflage, so that when people fly over from the top, they just basically see a thing. But then we have what looks to be very different stuff here, and it looks like the camouflage plates don't cover up the plating properly. Notice how there's plating, and these aren't covering up the plating properly. But they do look like camouflage nets over the top. On this one, definitely look like camo, because they don't look like trees. The trees just don't grow. And this one actually, by the way, is a little bit fucking high, a little bit higher. And this one has a bit more of a flat section on one side, on the back of it. I think of the back of the front, whatever it is. But the overall shape is still the same. The only difference is this one has a flattened section there at the front. I think that could be the front, and it coincides with that, because you look at that building goes there. So we spin it around. We have a look at it. I thought that could have been something, but that could be something. That could be a different type of ship. It's parked quite close to it. But it's when I turned around and I went and looked at the other ship, I was over there, I was going back to have a look at the other ship, and then I saw this one. Now this one to me looks like one of those Incan pyramids that was discovered buried under years and years and years and years and years. Something weird down there too, by the way. Don't know what that was. Now notice this one. This looks to me like an Incan pyramid type thing. And there's something down the bottom there. It looks like a ship. Shit, that even looks like a Stargate ship. Check that out. That looks like one of the Stargate ships. I'll be buggered. Whoops. At the very bottom of it, we need to have a look at that. Don't know, that image down the very bottom of it. It's only when you're directly looking down at it, I think. Sometimes you've got to move around with these. Check it out. There. No, I actually think that's another part. I think that's part of this ship. It could be a window or a doorway into this. Yeah, it looks like an entranceway, actually, into that mound. There's a definite end. That's an entranceway. There's an entranceway into this damn thing. So yeah, so that one's a wee bit strange as well. That may not be a ship. It could just be a mound Could be where they bury all the bodies of all the missing kids. I'm going to investigate that because I never saw that one before. There's definitely something there. I don't know what that is. That could be another ship. But I think what I've found is I think I found what the Bohemian Grove really is. It's where they worship alien gods. I think the beings that they're looking at are alien gods. Now you look at this. Perfect place to bloody hide. You've got big bloody mountains everywhere. And look how close they are to the Bohemian Grove Lake. All the accommodation over there. And they've given them a road so that they can basically access what's going on. Now these have been there for years so far. In one of the images in this one, it looks like it's in a different position. So we have two alien spacecraft, definitely the same shape. And I'm telling you now, they're spacecraft, nothing else, folks. They are alien spacecraft. And they're right next to the Bohemian Grove. The real reason why no one can come in without an invite is because there's something that really truly goes on there. I've been trying to look for the owl and I can't find the owl, folks. So you can make up your own mind. What are these objects? Are these alien spacecraft? As you can see there, look at the topography of the damn thing. We have one. We'll start with that one. There we go. We have an alien spacecraft. And we have a second one. Now we're going to spin these around. Notice there's definite roads to these things, folks. Definite roads. I don't know what I just saw then. Now you can see here, there is definite stuff connected to the Bohemian Grove. Coming back. So all the way to the golf club. Sorry, there's more accommodation. Way more accommodation. What the hell is that? So it looks like there's something there. Looks ritualistic to me. Icons of something. Could that be the aliens they're worshipping? Could they be the aliens that are out of the ships? Who knows? Could the sacrifices be made to these alien beings? So there's a big accommodation block, major accommodation blocks, all connected to Bohemian. I don't know, that could be accommodation blocks. They could be underground bunkers. There's definitely something there. I don't know what these are. I've never noticed these ones before. I never went this far. I'm thinking, oh yeah, there's not much up there. Okay, there's more there. So there's more there. Okay. Something weird there. There's around a big hole. Notice all these, they're all accommodation blocks, accommodation. And they're right actually near our little hill. So there you go, folks, depending on how far you go, and I need to put that back up. Some even overlooking the golf course. Betcha that's the presidential one. It's got roads, yeah, it's got what looks to be, yeah, don't know, it's got some weird shit around here. Okay, weird shit meter is off the bloody charts at the moment. All accommodation. This is Bohemian Grove accommodation, folks. Or if it's not accommodation, that's something else. This could be the new Area 51. Check them out. They're really bloody weird, these ones. You can tell that's on flat topography there. That's not covering up anything. That's genuine. You got buildings over there. But shitloads. Wow, I didn't even notice these ones, folks. Yeah, what are these? This is what I mean. This Bohemian Grove, there's something bigger to the Bohemian Grove than maybe just these alien spaceships. Maybe this is another alien spaceport. And the Bohemian Grove is where the world leaders come to meet and greet their friends, or this is where they live. They've come to Earth and they've landed in Bohemian Grove, and they've built the Bohemian Grove around this complex, and this is where they come to meet them. But there's definitely something here, folks. We have not... Yes, so I'm going to run through everything once again for you. So what have I shown you? What I've shown you is what I believe are two alien spacecraft. So I'm just going to run through the actual footage that I captured on the screen and go through it with you again and discuss it. Now, what are the chances? Okay, now, this could have happened back in the year that they did that big play. I think, what was it called? War of the Worlds? Never know. Never know. There's been said that many landings have taken place. It's been said that many aliens look owl-like. Owl-like? They're worshipping an owl? Yeah. Yeah, a bit strange to me, isn't it? So what you've got to do is you've got to turn around and you've got to say, okay, what the hell is actually going on? Because what we clearly have here is basically alien spacecraft. It can't be nothing else, folks. I've gone into this and I've gone into this and I've gone into this and I've looked at it and looked at it and looked at it, and I've thought to myself, well, what the hell are we actually doing? It's sort of, what is it? Is it basically, yeah, we've got to turn around and we've got to ask ourselves what this truly is. It's you, yourself, is the only one that can actually make the decision as to what you're looking at. The same as me. I've come personally to the conclusion that these craft are similar to those in the movie called Stargate. Sorry, the TV series called Stargate, because the Al-Kesh ships weren't in the movie. They had other craft in the movie, but the Al-Kesh craft didn't come into it until the TV series. Now, what we're looking at there, I don't know what these things are. That's where the hand is right now. The actual length of them, long ways, is quite long, but the actual width of them was about 2 car lengths. You can clearly see all around the area there are accommodation blocks. There's an area of seating that looks like it could house 2,000 people, for sure. And you can see I went around this site reasonably well, and as you can see at the end of the thing when we got to it a moment ago, that there was stuff I didn't find. But it was when I was zooming around and trying to find all this stuff that I found extra stuff. I found like tiny little accommodation here, a bit of accommodation there. I've actually had a good look at that video, and I'm gonna, when we go back to that mound looking one, and it's going to sound quite strange when I say it, but yeah, I'm going to leave it until the mound's actually in front of me. But there's definitely a road that goes all around this area, and like if you're going to protect an area, you're going to need to patrol, and I bet you they patrol this just as securely as they patrol Area 51. There's something really going on in here. This is the reason why you can't get into the Bohemian Grove unless you're a member or you've been invited in here. There is something a little bit more sinister than just satanic worship. And I mean, yes, a bit more sinister.
Now, there was that chap that claimed he witnessed the murders of some boys in here. I can't think of his name. I actually watched that video earlier today. That's what spurred me to go and have a look at the Bohemian Grove. And I was actually looking for the graves. And, yeah, when you think about it, they got an area for seating, kitchens for 2,000 men, and men only. Maybe that these kitchens don't just cook normal meat, maybe they cook human meat. And it says in the last days there's going to be cannibalistic acts. And this could be one of the biggest ones of them because, as I said, they're not just hiding sacrificial altars. Those markers there are two actual, what I believe to be spacecraft. They're identical in shape. What's the chances of two mountains facing in the same direction being the exact same shape? Very minimal. Very minimal. They're both down in the hollow, in the valley. They're the same height. Oh, maybe one's a little bit higher, but it could be the ground positioning making it higher. But look at that one. That one looks like the side paneling on those Alcaf ships. And you can see the shape clearly there. You've got a high side, like a higher slope on one, and you've got a lower gradient on the other, and that lower gradient sort of fans out like the nose of the ship. And it wouldn't be too hard to hide a spaceship in this sort of area. You just cover it up, you put it in between some trees, you make up a bit of camouflage netting that's big enough, and as you can see there, the camouflage netting either came off or the ship has only just recently landed again, and they've turned around and had to pull more camouflaging over it, and they hadn't finished it when the satellite went over. So yeah, and look at the shape. There's a clean shape, like very, very steep, an extremely steep, sharp edge going through this. Now, yeah, I know it does appear in some hills through Google Earth, but for two of the hills of its same direction, have the same patterning on them, whether or not they have put these patterns on top of it in the images alone to make this look like accommodation, so that people just looking at it, they're just going to look at it and they're going to say, rather than see the shape of these hills, they're going to just look at it and say, oh yeah, that's just an accommodation block, yeah, nothing to worry about it. Because when you just look at it from that, yeah, it's only when you zoom down on it topographically, and that's when it really happens, and it just bounces up and smacks you right in the face. And I mean, it smacked me right in the face, and it screamed at me it was an alien ship. It's saying, hey, look at me, I forgot to put the camouflage on, here I am sitting in the middle of the bush. No one can see me anyhow, so I'm not really bloody worried. And they forgot about the satellite going over. You can see the road there, by the way, it is near the road, so hence, at first I did look, thinking, okay, that's just a bloody build. Didn't take any notice until I actually zoomed down topographically, as I said earlier. And that's when you start to see the damn shape of it. It's too slopey to put a building on. If that had a building on top that size, it would have to be flattened. So no, it's not a building. It can either be one of two things. It can be the shape of the craft that's underneath it, or it could be camouflage put over the top to make it look like, or a ship with the ability to cloak would have the ability to put an image like that on top of itself so that it could just blend in with the scenery and make itself look like an accommodation block. But they've done a really shit job of it, because Google Earth maps topographically. That means it maps, for those, the novices out there that does not know what topographical means. Topographical means it will put a hill where a hill is supposed to be. If a hill has been scanned, and as you can see, I'm going through and gone back in time and looked at all the different shots of this in there, and I'm just clicking back through them, and you can see that the imagery doesn't look right where these hills are. It looks like it's painted on. When there are good images, you can see what look to be fidgeting with the image. Okay, they've changed the map or changed the picture, and as Google Earth has overlaid these images over the top of these hills or spacecraft, it's actually giving them away because they've just done a shit job at doing this. And I mean, they've done a real shitty job. But the thing is, you go back through the images and it's just, yeah, it stands out. It says, screams at me saying, hey, look at me, look where I am. I'm in the middle of your bush. And yes, spacecraft can land in trees. They're a bit more controllable than us, okay? We've got planes and trains and automobiles, but we don't have this kind. Oh, we do. We have a, what do they call it? The one that goes up and down. I can't think of the bloody thing. I don't follow that sort of shit. But the thing is, we have here a spacecraft, and it's definitely a spacecraft, because lo and behold, it has a mate. The mate is a bit further in front of it, and both leading to roads, have both got roads, both have support buildings around it. And I mean, yes, I believe they are support buildings. Would you want the alien creature sleeping in the same compound as you? No. If you're a world leader and we've got an ambassador from another world, or somebody claiming to be a god, and that ceremony have the cremation of care, in other words, they don't give a shit what we think, and that's why they have that ceremony. And basically, it's sort of, this could be the way it says, and the Antichrist was thrown down to heaven. These could be ships. You don't know. It's sort of, and as you can see, I've actually gone genuinely into my computer because I've saved images and I'm seriously looking this. Nothing has been faked by me. I'm showing you what I believe these could be. Now, Hollywood has a way of somehow putting out the truth that the Illuminati or whatever these people bloody claim to be. They have the habit of putting the truth out there. The best way to hide something is to bring it into plain sight. Okay, so bringing it into plain sight by making these ships look like the Alcast ships, so when they are, if they are ever discovered, they can say, bang, oh, you've watched Stargate there, don't take any bloody notice of him. That's what they do. That is the reason they do it. It's called plausible deniability. But, okay, here we don't have plausible deniability because we have two ships exactly the same bloody shape. They have the same type of tops on them. They've changed them a little bit. They've tried to make them look like accommodation blocks from the air. But as I said, when you zoom down, how many people, when you think, would zoom down into Google Earth and have a look at the Bohemian Grove? Okay, you might get one or two, they'll have a look at the lake, but they won't. They'll just see the top of everything else and they don't take any bloody notice of it, because up until now, no one else has noticed these things. It took me that after hearing this thing about this guy witnessing the murders and saying they took great care to dispose of the bodies, well, okay, one, I thought, okay, cannibalism, good way to get rid of the bodies. Two, buried them. So I started looking for grave sites, and I really did. I looked at grave sites. Now, this is the interesting one, okay? This is the, oh yeah, that's where the panelling, it looks like the camouflage netting is not covering up the thing. And there's a lot of that camouflage netting all over the place, actually, throughout the Bohemian Grove. And I think they're covering up other stuff. There's a little bit more to the Bohemian Grove than what meets the eye. And it really, truly does. There's more to the Bohemian Grove. Not just the spaceships. I believe there's other stuff in here. At the end, I'll show you, and I'll put another opinion in. Now, look at that shape. It's exactly the same shape as the other one. Exactly. The camouflage is different. Well, you wouldn't use the same camouflage in two ships. Then you would be a definite giveaway. But unfortunately, the topographical satellite that took these images. Now, see that mound there that I've got the cursor on there? I think that could act, but I didn't have time to sort of go in because I wanted to get this video out. I just wanted to bump this video out as quickly as I bloody could. And going through the process, you can hear me in the first one where I saw stuff and I wanted to double check it. Okay, there's an accommodation block there. I was looking at that, and then I'm filming down and I saw that bloody white thing. I think this, yeah, there it is. I saw that bloody white thing. I thought, oh yeah, I've got to come back to that. And I actually think that may be a little spaceship. Now, I saw buses or bigger vehicles rather than cars around this site, and I think they bus the people around this site. I don't think they just do the cremation of care. I think they have massive meetings. Okay, you've got 2,000 of the top world people coming to the Bohemian Grove. I'd say 90% Americans. Yeah, maybe 100% because this is definitely something strange. Okay, now we're coming to the other mound. I believe this could be a pyramid type structure. Okay, what do I believe it's like a pyramid type thing? It's sort of, I can't really get too much of the shape, but you got to remember when some pyramids have been found, but it's that image, just when you look at that, it looks like an alien and a man together, and they're holding something, right? And it's sort of, and what they're holding is the doorway into this object. And you can see the alien behind the man, but the other thing, they also look naked, which is a bit scary, but it is the butchery. That's what this place is supposed to be all about. But yeah, that looks like that little Brazilian alien that everybody sees. It's got that little split in its top of its head. So, are these what they call the archons? Now, the archons were supposed to be a bit of a danger to us. And when you think about it, the devilish, that's that little object there that I thought might have been something, could be another little craft. It just didn't look like a vehicle. It looked more like a spacecraft to me. And it could be just a tiny little one that is flown in for the day and doesn't need to be hit. It just sits down in there because what we have a completely protected, hilled-off area. Perfect spot to land spacecraft. Perfect spot to camo these spacecraft come into night. How do we know that this town that's next to this doesn't support and is not part of the Bohemian Grove? It has more than likely been built because of the Grove. The golf club definitely has been built because of this club. And the rich and the powerful, I believe, come here. And as I said, that could be just a gigantic hall that they built. And they've covered it over with camouflage, but I don't think it is because it's, reminds me too much of the Alcash of the Stargate TV series. And yes, the old saying goes, if it looks, there's a special saying, it's sort of Rackham's Law, I think it is. If it looks like a spaceship, then it is a spaceship. And I think that's what we've got here. I think that we've got Rackham's Law comes into this, and it looks like a spaceship, we've got a spaceship. Yeah, those square things on the side of the hill, they had me. They still got me beat what they are. They're definitely not trees, because trees don't grow in squares. And I do believe there's a hell of a lot of camouflage netting all around this site, hidden and tied to trees, underneath trees, so that it actually camouflages what's going on underneath. You've got to remember, there's 2,000 men in this site. They're doing God knows what. And God would be the only one, besides themselves, what's going on. And the only one getting pissed off by what's going on. We've got here, there's the possibility they pretend to kill people. Like the Skull and Bones organisation in that college. They do the same damn thing. The part of their ceremony is apparently the fake killing of somebody. There's that many missing people. Sometimes when you think about it, they may not be fake killings. They could be bloody real sacrifices that are going on in these places. There's a chap, the chap that inspired me to actually go and have a look at this Bohemian Grove. I went looking for graves. This guy said he witnessed these kids. He personally witnessed one certain child get done. Now, this is a murderer. And he's not going to turn around and make that. Now that looks like a dinosaur with a person on his back, or a monkey on its back, i.e. where the monkeys. So the reptile and monkeys, they got them together. So the Archons are supposed to be a reptilian race. So are we truly looking at, and it does, it looks like a bloody dinosaur. That's when I said the weird shit-o-meter hit the fan, because this has really spun me right out. I've sort of spent the whole day researching the Bohemian Grove. I've been scanning this, And I've had to re-download Cam Studio because I had a hard drive crash a motherboard crash the other day, and the old computer went down. I had to replace everything. Still haven't uploaded everything, so I spent a lot of the day uploading all my software so I could make this video. While I was doing it, while all the programs were doing it, I'm scanning around on Google Earth, and eventually got all the software uploaded, and I got Cam Studio on so I could film the screen. And to those people who want to know what Cam Studio is, it films the screen. No matter what you do on the screen, it films it directly, perfect. You don't have to put the camera on the bloody screen. Download Cam Studio if you don't have it. You're mad if you don't. And the thing is, there's so much happening in these images. Now, I don't know whether they're vehicles on the road or what they were. It's sort of something, nowhere near that big hollow type section. Maybe that hollow type section is a landing pod. And yeah, so we've got, that's just me screwing up. I've sort of, that's when the audio died actually. But when you look at what's going on around the world, the secrecy of the Bohemian Grove, the secrecy alone is enough to question and say, are these really spaceships? We've got world leaders going here, we've got all the rich going here. Maybe this is the deal they've done. This is where the technology that we've experienced, the growth of 100 years, that maybe these guys have been here for the 100 years, that we've excelled from the Wright brothers all the way up into travelling into space. And at first I thought the Apollo missions were fake, but I'm now beginning to believe that the Apollo missions were done, and they were done for a reason. You've only got to look at my last couple of videos and you'll see those things. There's a bloody spaceport. There's a whole city on the bloody moon. And they're weird spacecraft, odd-shaped, similar to these bloody things. Similar, not the same, similar. Maybe that ring is just not visible in this. These look like they've been there for a while, or they've just landed amongst the trees and turned on their camouflaging. But they're the same size. Both of them, same shape. The other one looks like a mound. And I meant what I said, it looked like an alien couple and a man, so, and it is supposed to be a home. I don't know what that is. That one really had me sort of thing. I think that's a bit of a message in there. So have a look at that, pause the video and have a good look at it. So once again, I'm going to leave this up to you. Make up your own bloody mind. Look at the hard evidence I'm presenting. Two exact same shaped mounds have similar tops, similar camouflaging, different camouflaging, or is that actually really part of the ship, as I said, which it could be part of the damn ship. But they're identical in shape. They're near the Bohemian Grove. They're in a well-protected area, and I mean a very well-protected area. This is amazing, and when I say amazing, I mean I could say effing amazing, but I say it's bloody amazing. We have here two identical mounds. We have another mound that actually, when you turn around and spin around on it, it looks like you have an alien and a human beside holding something, which is actually the door inside it. And generally, like in the olden days, they used to build buildings like that where you had the images surrounding the doorway, and that's what we could have here. But we definitely have something. And I mean, we've definitely got something here, folks. And like, I went there just looking for the graves of the dead kids. And but the thing is, we've found a little bit more than just a couple of graves of dead kids, because I still can't find them. As I said, they could have been cannibalistic victims. Because that guy said, they take great lengths into hiding the bodies. And maybe this could even be grounds for the thing. And I believe that town supports this bloody place well and truly. That town definitely supports this place. And you've got definitely got something down here as we zoom out. It looks to actually, more times I've looked at it, it actually looks like a bloody dinosaur with a person or a monkey on the dinosaur's back. That is part of an image, or it might not just be an image, but I think it is just an image cut into the rock, and that's meant to be seen from the air. And the thing is, they make this stuff visible so that we can see this sort of thing.
And the best way to hide something, as I said earlier, is in plain sight. That's how thieves hide. They hide in plain sight. They could be your neighbour down the road, get bang, sort of, you never know. But the thing is, you've got to look at what you see. See what you're looking at. Analyse what you're looking at, because what you could be looking at, ladies and gentlemen, are two alien spacecraft, an alien mound for whatever purposes it is, a lot of camouflaging underneath the trees as well, hiding what actually goes on in this place. And it's meant to be hidden. And you can see that it's meant to be hidden. And why do I say there's a lot of camouflaging there? Because when you zoom in on that dark areas, you see what looks to be camouflage netting. And it's basically, yeah, the topographical side of it, as I said before, the topographical images that these satellite takes are so precise that it can't be anything else. But so all we can do is just look at what we've got, make up your own minds, folks. I'm lifting the veil on this one, and it's, yeah, it's a bit shocking. I'm even finding it a bit shocking at what I've actually found. And yeah, all I can do is give you the information, and you yourself can make your mind up. And please look at it a lot like this. Watch this bloody twice. Watch this 3 times. Go to Google Earth and look at the Bohemian Grove and study these things. Look at the shapes. If you can't see it in this video, go to Google Earth. Type in Bohemian Grove, California. Go there and look at these things. It's in the 2012. Don't forget to use the history. Go back through the history on each image, and you will find very strange stuff. As I said, I watched a video where a guy said he witnessed this thing, and they took great lengths in the thing. And then I saw the security road going around this whole valley. When you think about it, they would own this whole valley, because if they got these rituals going on in that lake, they're going to want to protect the hills so that no one can sit on the hills. And especially after that guy jumped over, crossed the fence, went down, filmed the ceremony. Ever since that ceremony has been public, I reckon they've taken even greater lengths to cover these things up. So, yeah, open your minds, look at the truth, and don't believe what the government tells you, because I can tell you now what you're looking at there is a giant alien facility working with man. So, yeah,